At Yinghua Academy, more than 800 students from kindergarten to grade 8 study Chinese as a core part of their education. But this top-performing public Chinese immersion school in Minnesota will soon lose 4 teachers and $10,000 in annual funding. These resources used to come from the Confucius Institute, a Chinese government program promoting language and culture overseas. In February, after hosting the Confucius Institute for nearly 10 years, the University of Minnesota ended their contract early. This also spells the end of the Institute's funding to Yinghua Academy and other schools it has supported in the area.
We've enjoyed StarTalk grants for critical languages through the federal government, and so there was some speculation as to, well, if we remain a Confucius classroom, would we be eligible to receive those funds? So it was a piece of our decision.
The University of Minnesota was not the first to cut ties with the Confucius Institute, and it won't be the last. In recent years, at least 7 universities in the U.S. have ended the program following concerns that it brings Beijing's censorship and ideology into the classrooms with little oversight.
The University of Minnesota and China have a very long history. Chinese students began taking classes here more than a century ago. But now that history is mired in geopolitics. Within weeks, the university cut ties with the Confucius Institute and with Chinese global tech giant Huawei. As a 40-year diplomatic relationship hits its lowest ebb, Washington thinks that Beijing is using these connections to undermine American interests.
Huawei funds research at the school through gifts to the University of Minnesota Foundation and paid membership at the Center for Research in Intelligent Storage. In February, the university cut ties with the Chinese tech giant as it faces several U.S. indictments for stealing trade secrets, violating Iran sanctions, and bank fraud.
We suspended any future arrangements. We didn't cut off anything that was in progress. I think that was a responsible decision. These aren't things that are going to be determined primarily at the University of Minnesota. These are things that are going to be determined at a federal level. That's outside of our control.
At the Center for Research in Intelligent Storage, Huawei was one of 9 corporate sponsors paying a $50,000 annual membership fee to fund research to advance memory storage systems.
因为我们中心的 funding 非常充足，我并不需要太担心说华为不投钱了以后，我的funding就没有人资助了。但是我所能够获取工业前沿动态的一个渠道就没有了。那我们有9家公司，在这家9家公司进来之前，都会向大家明确的说明说，任何你们提供给我们中心所研究的，在所有的公司中都是共享的。研究的关于华为合作的项目，对其他公司也都是可见的。而且我们研究的成果， 至少在我们现在的计划里，将来也是要公开发表的。
Back at Yinghua, the canteen is bustling with students whose parents anticipate a bright future in studying Chinese. President Sue Berg says the Confucius Institute's support has been helpful, but the school will continue to flourish regardless of its resources.
We imagine that all of this goodwill for over 100 years will sustain itself. And at the end of the day, I think it's about people, maybe not about governments.